All right, let's get into it. So, picture this. You're in charge of a massive golf course, a professional sports stadium, maybe a huge city park. Keeping all that grass, all that turf healthy? Well, that's a full-time job and then some. I mean, how do you even know which parts need more water or which spots might be getting sick without walking every single inch of the place? It is a massive challenge. So to figure this out, researchers use these special test plots, just like the one you're looking at now. The big idea is to find a way to check on huge areas of grass that's both fast and, doesn't break the bank. The old school way uses all this expensive, specialized gear, but the big question they're asking is, what if there's a much cheaper, easier way to do it? And really, that's the heart of what we're talking about today. Could a normal camera, the kind you might have in your bag right now, or one you could just go out and buy, could it actually take the place of that pricey lab-grade equipment? Can we turn everyday tech into a real, honest-to-goodness scientific tool for studying plants? To find out, the researchers basically set up a competition. They grabbed 3 popular off-the-shelf cameras and decided to see which one could do the best job analyzing turfgrass. So let's meet our contenders. So in one corner, you've got the GoPro. It's tough, it's tiny, it's perfect for just mounting on a vehicle and snapping thousands of pictures automatically. And in the other corner, a high-resolution Nikon DSLR, a classic workhorse known for its absolutely amazing picture quality. Right away, you can see the trade-off, right? Ruggedness versus pure detail. And to complete the lineup, we have a high-quality Sony camera, another really strong competitor. So the stage is set. We've got our 3 cameras, 1 field of grass. And the challenge is to see which one gives us the most scientifically accurate data about how healthy that turf really is. But wait, how do you actually measure plant health with a number? Well, scientists have this thing called NDVI. The simple version is that healthy, green plants reflect light in a very different way than stressed or dying plants do. NDVI is just a score that measures that difference. It tells us how green and dense the plants are. This number is our gold standard. It's the scientific truth that our cameras are trying to match. Okay, now this is where things get a little tricky. You can't just point your camera and shoot and expect to get good data. See, the way a camera sensor sees color is different from how a scientific instrument sees it. It's even different from one camera to the next. So to turn a simple photo into reliable data, you have to be absolutely sure the colors are accurate. And this little guy is the tool for that job. It's a color checker panel. Every single one of those squares is a very precise, scientifically known color. So by taking a picture of this panel first, the researchers can create a correction profile for the camera. They're basically telling the software, hey, this is what true red should look like, and this is true blue, and so on for all the colors. It's like a ruler, but for color. And wow, you can see the difference that correction makes right away. On the left, that's the original photo from the Sony. On the right, the corrected version. Now, just to our eyes, the one on the right just looks better, right? It's warmer, the details feel a bit sharper, so you'd naturally think, okay, that's got to be the more accurate one. But here's the twist. Because when the scientists actually dug into the numbers, what looked better to the human eye didn't necessarily mean it was better data for science. That simple fix? Yeah, it turned out to be a whole lot more complicated. So let's really break this down. Why would a process that is designed to make images more accurate actually end up making the data from some of our cameras less accurate? This is where the story gets really, really interesting. Okay, this chart right here is the whole story. It shows how well each camera's data matched up with that NDVI gold standard. Just remember this, red is good, blue is bad. Now, stick with me here. Look down at the rows for the Sony camera. The original image, Sony OG, and the corrected one, Sony CC. They're both deep red. That's a great correlation. But now look up at the GoPro and the Nikon. When you go from their original OG versions to the corrected CC versions, the colors shift towards blue. The color correction actually made their data worse. And here you can see what that actually means in practice. In these images, the software is trying to find all the pixels that are green, living grass. In the original image on the left, it found about 6.2% green cover. But after the color correction, look at the right. That number drops all the way down to 3.5%. The correction process literally made the computer miss a huge chunk of grass that it had correctly identified before. And it gets even crazier when you look at the yellow or dying grass. In the original photo, the software saw about 28% yellow. After the so-called fix, that number absolutely exploded to almost 48%. The algorithm's entire understanding of the turf's health got completely scrambled. So here it is, the bottom line laid out for us. For the Sony camera, you can see that color correction actually helped a little bit. The score went up. But just look at the GoPro and the Nikon. For both of them, the correlation score went down after correction. A standard scientific procedure, one that's supposed to make things more accurate, actually made the data from 2 out of the 3 cameras less reliable. How about that? So what on earth does all this mean? We started out asking a simple question. Can a regular camera be a scientific tool? And I think the answer is yeah, but it is way more complicated than we thought. These results don't give us a simple, clean solution. Instead, they open up a much bigger, much deeper question about how we do science in the first place. And that leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question, straight from the researchers themselves. Should we just blindly stick to a one-size-fits-all scientific method, even when we have proof it doesn't work for every tool? Or should we be willing to adapt our process for each specific experiment, each specific camera? It suggests that as our tools get smarter, our thinking about science has to get smarter too. It's a great reminder that sometimes the most important discovery isn't the answer you were looking for, but a much, much better question.